crazy woman accused me of cheating on my husband when she saw me shopping with my oldest son. My 22-year-old son came home from college and we had no food in the house, so we decided to go shopping at the only grocery store in our tiny town. My husband and I had him when we were very young, still in high school, so people often mistook him for a younger sibling or even a date. My son was always an affectionate kid and would often hug me for no reason, and that carried into adulthood. While we were at the store in the produce area, my son wrapped his arm around my shoulders in a side hug, and I returned the embrace before leaning forward to look at the heads of lettuce. I heard a loud gasp behind us and spun around to find an older lady standing there with her hand covering her mouth and her eyes wide, darting between me and my son. Everyone in town knew who she was, considering she liked to gossip about everyone and was always up in everyone's business. We all tolerated her instead of liking her, and I tried to be kind to her, but she never liked me or my husband because we had our son in our teens outside of marriage. She glared at me with hatred. How dare you cheat on your husband, and with a kid no less. The scandal. It took me a moment to understand what she was talking about, but when I did, I couldn't help laughing. I shook my head at her. This is my son, I said, not my boyfriend. She rolled her eyes. I know love when I see it. Of course I love him. He's my son. My voice rose as I tried explaining it to her. What didn't she understand about this? My son looked confused as he stared at us, and the other shoppers were stopping to watch the little drama unfold. I was getting agitated the longer we stood there talking to this crazy lady. We're trying to shop, I finally said. Please leave us alone. I reached forward to grab a head of lettuce when she suddenly lunged forward and grabbed my arm in a tight grip. I hissed in pain and wrenched myself free as my son leaped in between us with a surprised look on his face. What the heck? I snapped. What is your problem? My problem is you. You're going to hell. First you have a baby outside of marriage, and now you're cheating on your husband with a kid. You will be judged harshly for this. She started spouting Bible verses at me as I grabbed my son's arm and dragged him out of the produce aisle. We marched away toward another part of the store, but she followed us, screeching at the top of her lungs and disrupting the rest of the shoppers. Eventually, we decided to forget the rest of our shopping and headed for the checkout. The crazy lady continued following us until the manager, a good friend of my family, finally came out of his office to see what the commotion was. Fed up with this woman's screeching, I finally spun on my heel and screamed, "Shut up!" My voice stopped her in her tracks and stunned her into silence. The manager arrived at the scene right as I yelled that, and she immediately went from screaming at us to sobbing and blubbering like an idiot. She began telling some sob story to the manager while he just glanced between us, confused. Finally, he turned to me. "Are you okay?" he asked. "Is this lady bothering you?" The lady went quiet as she stared at us with wide eyes. I smirked at her. "Yes, she's harassing us," I said coldly. The manager glared at the lady before addressing my son and clapping him on the back. "I'm so happy to see you," he said. "How was college?" "Good," my son said. "I'm happy to be home with my parents." He wrapped his arm around my shoulders again. We all turned to look at the lady who was turning red in the face from embarrassment. She stammered something that none of us could understand before stomping her foot in exasperation. "I didn't know," she finally yelled. "I thought she was cheating on her husband." I just gave her an icy look. "Even if I was, it's none of your business," I said firmly. "Get out of my store," the manager said coldly. "You're not welcome back here." What was funny is that the store was the only grocery store in town. She would have to travel an hour just to go grocery shopping.